Hello and welcome to Reviews. Now, I need to make this kind of quick. Yeah, right. Um, I just got off of a work call. I'm on call and I'm heading to Canada tomorrow, so I gotta do some stuff there. So I'm gonna try and make this quick. But first off, let me say, um, I've said it before. I loved the Superior Spider-Man, Otto as Spider-Man. Basically, if there's one good thing that came from Spider-Geddon, is that Otto went back from the Superior Octopus to the Superior Spider-Man, and then Butters decided to walk into frame. Hey, but um, anyway, as I was saying, um, the Superior Octopus. One thing I want to mention: if you saw my video for that book, I loved it. I loved the Superior Octopus. And I was just at my comic shop, well, actually my backup comic shop a couple days ago, and talking about it. And I asked them, whatever happened to that? Did issue 2 ever come out? And they said no, it was actually only a one shot, and they weren't expecting it to be as popular as it was, and they had a lot of people coming in because it was a tie-in to Spider-Geddon, kind of like on the down low, and they had a lot of people asking for it, and it just wasn't available anymore. And so I thought that was interesting because I remember reading an article on CBR that it was a new series. So I went back actually just today, and I don't usually go to CBR. Butters, stop it. I don't usually go to CBR. Yes, especially it's just the forums are just horrible. And anyway, sorry. And I found the article that I had originally read, and they've changed the title to the Superior Octopus One Shot, when originally it said, it was a new series. And if you go into the article, it actually keeps referring to it as a series. So all they did is they went back and changed the article, a little bit of Orwellian editing, but they only just did the title of the article. So I was not mistaken. It was originally listed as a series. So, and it may have been, and then they just decided with Spider-Geddon that they'd work him back into Spider-Man. But that's okay. That's neither here nor there. I just felt like talking about it. But about this issue, first off, I like the cover. It's a really striking cover, and it's one of the ones I mentioned before that really benefits from the Stan Lee Black Banner. I know this sounds weird, but putting the title down here at the bottom. Again, I don't like this. I would have rather had they did a black border around the issue, still had the title up, and did something. But this is one of the ones that the blacks, it looks really good. And so basically this is issue 2 of the Superior Octopus, or maybe I don't want to say reboot, but another go. Like the first issue was a pilot. The Superior Octopus was the pilot in TV terms, where it's the first episode of a new series, and they're waiting to see if it gets picked up. And sometimes, it tests well enough, but they need to make some changes. That's why I like Star Trek. The first pilot actually had Pike and number 1 instead of Kirk and Spock. Although Spock was in it, but anyway, that's it. Kind of what it feels like. So this issue does pick up after Spider-Geddon, and again the black things. My furnace just went off, and I just changed that filter. And it opens up right with Octopus, Otto, fighting Stiltman. And I tell you, I've always loved Stiltman. And I know they play him off as a joke, ha ha ha, he's on stilts. And I think you could really do some cool stuff, but he's pretty much just used as a punching bag. So, Spider-Man fights him. I should just call him Otto. And, because of the clone, I guess I hadn't realized this. He doesn't have, even though his body is a clone of Peter and Otto's genetic material, it looks like he doesn't have the spider sense. He also uses kind of like the black ink webbing effect, which I really like. Even his webbing's darker. So yeah, he fights him. I am going to try and go through this issue really quick, and it shows how he's Otto is always, several steps ahead. Um, if there's one thing we learned about Otto is that he thinks he's better than everyone else, and in some ways he is, but things escape his grasp. He suffers from hubris. That's how the inheritors came back in Spider-Geddon. So while Stiltman's legs, Spider-Man's webbing can't stick to him. Well, the Superior Spider-Man expected that and changed his webbing. There's one thing I gotta say. One thing I've always loved about Stiltman, it's not stilts. I've always loved the urinal around his head. I don't know why. I don't know what purpose it serves. Like maybe protection. From being hit from behind, or when he falls, protecting his head wouldn't help his neck. But I don't know why. That's like one of the most striking characteristics about him, and I just really like that. I know it sounds goofy, but I like when things are goofy. So anyway, he captures Stiltman and almost he calculates uh, how close it would come to killing him, and like Otto said, like Stiltman says, what if you miscalculated? Well, the problem would still be solved, wouldn't it? And yeah, so this is Otto is Spider-Man, and I love it. He's arrogant, he's full of himself. He does a quip. He's very serious, and but yeah, he has flaws. He's overconfident. He looks down on everyone as inferiors. So one of the things was, should he deal with Stiltman, or should he go to his um, lecture as Elliot? And he had to make his choice. So he takes care of Stiltman really quick and does this great lecture. About. I was worried that it was going to be kind of SJW the way it started. Um, but no, it's, science in this box, art in that, and never the twain shall meet. No, science is art. And he talks about how, sorry, Butters is just going to sit here. Age, illness, death itself, constraints, inevitabilities? No, we can conquer them. We can defy space and time, traverse dimensions. These are all things Otto has done. It's really great. And so he's talking about how, but we must do it in the right way. We must understand the rules we are breaking in order to achieve the proper result. And so he's almost, I don't want to make a Hitler comparison, but it's almost like one of these, speeches you would see given by, the militant rulers. But it has a twist to it. So go forth and remake the world. The die is cast. I love the fact that everyone makes fun of this phrase of his, which in the original Superior Spider-Man run he only used it once, maybe twice, but somehow it's become his catchphrase, and even in Spider-Geddon, they made fun of him for it. So yeah, he's kind of getting people swarming him, his students, people who listen to the lecture want to know more about him. Basically he's getting the adoration that he did not get as Otto. So it's kind of a win-win for him, but it comes at the cost. Anna Marie is figuring out. Anna Maria is figuring out, as we saw in the Superior Octopus, who he really is. And that end stuck with me. What was it? The die is cast? Oh, did I say that? You did. What's it from? It's an expression. Sure, from like 1930s gangster movies. So, yeah, he talks a little bit. We get a little bit of what made Otto, basically Dr. Octopus. He didn't have a good life, abusive father, nagging mother, couldn't keep his relationships, and then the accident that turned him into Octopus. So, of course, we get this recreation of that famous panel, and, basically it's a couple-page summary of what happened, how he became the Superior Spider-Man, how he met Anna Maria, and he's actually full of regret for hurting her. And it's really, really great because it's humbling. So yeah, he talks about how he set up other identities. Because as he's walking through, I'm like, where do you get the money for these? Butters brought something up here. money for all his labs and everything. But no, he had put this aside previously. Other funds. Set up his luxury, set up his lab, and so now he's going to be the Superior Spider-Man. He doesn't need a personal life. This also picks up from um, the Superior Octopus, where he has the oh god, what's the night shift? Um, where he has them, basically as employees, and so he's fighting, Master Pandemonium's cult and Dancing Macabre. You know, basically subdues them, and you know, and then she ends up hitting on him, and of course, he says, "I am your employer. This is inappropriate. Let's not speak of it again. I will be in touch." And yeah, Digger's funny in this. His lines and harsh rejection. Eh, Grave Gang? Old Digger thinks she should try that app. It's all online now. Your horror host met some ladies with very specific interests. I laughed at this line. It's this book is fun. So we come back, and now we have another person who's interested, who's older than Octavius. Professor Tolliver, wonderful lecture yesterday. I'd like to speak to you more about putting it online. Of course, Miss Hernandez. Please come to my lab at your convenience. And so yeah, he says he's attracted to women, attracted to their minds, and just he still has that guilt about Anna Maria, which of course, as he enters his lab, Otto Octavius. And it's Anna Maria just giving him the what for. Um, oops. Oh, come on. You show up in town at the same time as that Superior Octopus guy, or Superior Spider-Man, whatever. I'm not stupid. No, you are most certainly not. Very well, Anna. I will not insult you further. I don't believe this. I knew you were a middle-aged creeper, but to stalk me across the damn country? No, you misunderstand. And we have Otto being contrite to her. You know, I didn't anticipate you recognizing me, but perhaps we can come to terms. Oh man, you really are deranged. So yeah, you have Otto, who's not good at dealing with people. He's a genius, and he really cares about her, and he feels great regret um, for misleading her. When he was in Peter's body, and now she finds out the stuff he did. And there's a great little kind of callback in here to the Spider-Man game where he says, no, she says about him being deranged. No, but I was once. A side effect of the accident that bonded me with my new metal arms. But this body lacks that damage. I don't remember that being said in the comics. Maybe it was. I just, haven't played the Spider-Man game recently. You're clinging to that theory, huh? Even though several leading neurologists theorized there was no damage, just your brain rewiring itself to control extra limbs. You've studied me the way you study a disease. And it's great. He's trying to tell her that the situations were more nuanced than when presented with his various crimes. But it doesn't matter. I wasn't a well man. I've changed. Yeah, the only thing that's changed you is you got Peter Parker's memories, a taste of his drive to do good. But that's not enough with you, because deep down, you're who you are. And who you are is a selfish, arrogant, power-mad criminal. One I'm turning into the police. Now, I'm going to stop right there. I'm not going to go on the next few pages, because it does end, pretty well. Yeah, and, she's kind of right. Is this a reformed Otto? Or is he always going to be, reverting to, he has an ends justify the means. And he's fascinating. You know, yeah, I think he really does want to do good. And, he's much more interesting like this. He's become such a great character. And I love this book. I was bummed when Superior Octopus wasn't an ongoing. And I think I mentioned, I didn't really care for his costume. I thought it just needed a rework. But back to the, Superior Spider-Man, I'm all for that. I give this book a full thumbs up. And I think I haven't done that with too many books. And I think maybe I did it with Superior Octopus, or even if I was even rating it that way. Get this book. This is good. It has a flawed character who's trying to do the right thing, and it's great because the people who know who he is, don't believe him. People are drawn to him, but he is you know, not good with people. But he's super efficient, and as we've seen before, he can fall to his own hubris and have too much confidence in himself. And this is great. I'm loving this, and this is going to be added to my pull list. I'm going to start picking this up. So yeah, full thumbs up. And yeah, I managed to get this in just about 15 minutes. So I got to finish doing some packing, and hopefully I'll be back in time to do another video tomorrow. So as always, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.